People were saying playing behind that line that Dak Prescott had been awarded a gift, and he hadn't, because we saw bad quarterbacks play behind that line the year before. But for what Jameis Winston is asked to do for this team, the running game isn't the same as it is in Dallas. The offense isn't tailor-made to say, okay, we're going to make sure you and Marcus Mariota don't have to make decisions where you have to push down the field. And those guys can play. If you look at their quarterback rating, it is higher than Jameis Winston. No other quarterback under 25, no other quarterback on this list or on any other list right now at his age is asked to do the things and carry the team and lead the team in the way that he's asked to do. We went down there during the preseason last year, and we were there for 2 days. We were there for training camp, and just talking to those guys, talking to Gerald McCoy, and the things they said about his leadership, the way that they follow him, also the pressure put on him to perform in that offense without the pieces around him that they have in Dallas is what makes me think that Jameis Winston is that guy. I think long-term success, long-term production and productivity is going to be higher for Jameis Winston than it will for these other two quarterbacks. And I know anytime you start to make these comparisons, it seems like a knock on the other guy, which this is not. I think that Marcus Mariota and Dak Prescott will be highly successful and very good quarterbacks. If I had to pick one today to lead my franchise, if I were redrafting in a draft where all three of these guys were in it, I'd pick Jameis Winston first.
Jameis Winston has huge upside. I love Jameis Winston, the kind of grittiness of Brett Favre and the size and the arm of Big Ben and leadership qualities and all of that. And I can understand easily why you'd put Jameis one. He and Mariota, after all, were, perceived the way they were. That's why they went high in the first round. Wanted to. That's not Dak. He was taken in the third round. And I get it. Dak is playing behind a great offensive line, probably the best in the NFL, with a great running back. I get all of that. But I'll take Dak. Look, he's already done it. As a rookie, he's done it. And no, he doesn't seem to have the same kind of wow upside that Jameis does. And Mariota's also excellent. He's going to get better. I think they're both really good, the two other guys. But in Dak's case, he's compared to, for example, Russell Wilson, doesn't make mistakes, and he can use his legs. I'll tell you who else he really reminds me of. Tom Brady. I know he has legs and Brady doesn't. But like Brady, he takes what the defense gives him. He doesn't force it. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's a winner. You like the ball in his hands. Almost came back on Green Bay in these playoffs. He reminds me that he has the same kind of stuff that reminds me, the mistake-proof football that reminds me of Tom Brady. Brady also, early on, wasn't like, wow, look at the upside. There was just something about him you liked, playing for the right team, minimizing mistakes, maximizing opportunity. And by the way, those two guys, Russell Wilson and Tom Brady, the closest thing to a dynasty in the NFC in recent years has been Seattle. That's the closest thing they have to the Patriots in the AFC. And then there's the Patriots in the AFC. Dak reminds me of those two guys. He's my number one.
What about Carson Wentz? Because I haven't heard you guys mention him. He's 24, and I know obviously it'll be going into his second year. What's his potential? Could he be better than these guys?
Well, I don't think that Carson Wentz is going to be better than these guys, but I think he's going to be an extremely good quarterback in this league. Obviously, he started out last year on fire, and I think Doug Peterson and that organization kind of started to put too much on his plate. They started asking him to do too many things, and he also lost his starting tackle for many games of the season, and we saw that team was better when Johnson came back. Carson Wentz, I wouldn't say is of the caliber of these guys, but he can have a great career. Not just a good career, but a great career. We saw some of the moxie. We saw some of the mobility that I think we knew he had coming out of North Dakota State. And we also saw him make big throws down the field that many people were saying that Dak wasn't making earlier. But I do agree with you in this, Max. Dak does have that. Take what the defense gives me. He does have that I'm going to play smart ball. But we also saw him win games last year. We also saw him make the plays he had to make.
As Russell Wilson and Tom Brady did
and so
in their
I can see when we take this question and frame it up as